Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Real Talk with the Taylors. Drop your name in the chat so we'll know you're here. Hey, Sister Jen, love you, girl. Real big, you know it. Hey, Sister Michelle. Hey, Tawanda Green. All is well on our end. Thank you. Today was a long day. Hey, Karen Thomas. Let's talk about it. Hey, Sister Craft. Hello, Camila Collins. Hey, Rhonda Lynn. Thank y'all for getting on.
Hey Michelle, how are you? Listen, pray I had a wonderful day today. On this terrific Tuesday.
All righty. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for getting on. We certainly appreciate it. I'm like David. I hope everyone had a awesome tailor-made Tuesday. Yeah, tailor-made Tuesday. Thank y'all for getting on. So we're gonna jump right into it. We thank you. Always grateful for people getting on and just engaging with us and just kind of hearing what God has put on our hearts to talk about. Hey, Sister Pinky, love you, girl. Just excited. And y'all know I'm always gonna say I'm excited because I'm excited just about being alive and just being, man, y'all. I am pressing my way through. I just want y'all to know that I am really. Hey, Tiffany, love you, girl. Hey, Sister D, you know who you are. Love you. Just really pressing my way through.
Jenkins, Sister Jackson, hey.
Hey, Sister Jenkins.
AT Fish.
So y'all, just really pressing my way through. Man, just pressing my way through and getting on here. It helps me honestly to continue to press my way through challenges.
Sister Isaac, hey, good evening.
Hey, Auntie.
Denise Cannon, hey. How are you?
So just being able to press our way through. So today we have another hot topic. This is a really hot topic for me as a parent, in our marriage, in our friendships, in leadership, and in our faith. So tonight we're going to be talking about empathy versus enabling. Empathy versus enabling. And I'll start by saying a lot of times as parents, we want to have empathy for our children, and we want to make sure that, I know for me, want to make sure that my kids didn't have to go through what I went through. And so in order to extend that empathy with them, I think I enabled them in some ways. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about enabling.
And I'm going to give you the difference between empathy and enabling. Empathy involves understanding and validating someone's feelings while encouraging them to take responsibility for their own problems. Mm-hmm. Whereas enabling involves protecting them from the consequences of their actions. which ultimately allows their destructive behavior to continue.
Yeah. So in this particular episode, we want to talk about we just want to talk about the hard questions in relationships, right? The hard questions in relationships, the hard questions in leadership, the hard questions in faith. And we all want to help, right? We want to help, we want to love, we want to understand, but at what point does being there for someone actually keep them stuck? So this is raw. Hey sister, hey Cynthia. This is raw because I know that as a sibling, being the oldest girl in my family, I enabled my brother. Lord bless his heart. He's gone home to be with the Lord. He was my older brother, and we were like this, thicker than thieves. And he stayed in trouble. Boy, he stayed in trouble. Hey, Sister Collins. He was in jail. He just stayed in trouble. He was on drugs. He did all of that, right? And I found myself every single time he got in trouble. I found myself. I wanted to be there for him because I didn't want him to be. We didn't. Our parents were gone. We didn't have any. We only had each other, and I didn't want him to feel like he was in a space where he was by himself. So whenever he went to jail, I'm gonna send me some care packages. I'm gonna send those things. I'm gonna make sure that he's good while he's in that space. But y'all know he make those promises to me about how he's gonna get better. Then he gets out. And when he gets out, he gets back on drugs. And you know what? He can always come to my house because I'm gonna always make sure he was fed. I'm gonna always make sure that he was good. But y'all, when I look back on that, man, I was enabling my brother. I was enabling him big time.
And there's a fine line between showing empathy and enabling someone. There's a fine line. You have to be careful not to cross that line. Uh, Empathy is very important. There's something that brings comfort when we show empathy to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, empathy means I can relate to what you're going through. It means I have the capacity to put myself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
That's what showing empathy means.
Mm-hmm.
While being sympathetic is totally different. Sympathetic, I can show sorry for what you're going through, but I don't feel the pain that you're going through. It's like I'm standing on the shore, talking about sympathy, standing on the shore and seeing someone drowning, but not doing anything to help that person who's drowning. That's what sympathy is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm at a distance.
Mm-hmm. But empathy is actually
Feeling the pain that person is going through, put myself in that person's shoes, and I can relate to what they're going through.
mm-hmm. And so when does that? So that's what we're talking about, trying to balance that, being empathetic versus enabling people.
Yeah, I mean, as a minister, one of the hardest things that I have to experience is when someone's loved one passes away, and you have to try to come up with the words to comfort that person during that time,
Mm-hmm.
and there are no words.
No.
I try to find the right words to say, but that person is in pain. That person has lost their parent, that lost their child, and having to come up with words. There are no words. There's no magic scripture, no way you can stand that can sympathize or can help that person with what they're going through. Mm-hmm. All you can do is just cry with that person and feel the pain that person is going through, and let them know that you're there for them.
Yeah, and that's good because that's a good example when somebody loses a loved one. You want to say the right things, but sometimes, and people a lot of times, I'm gonna get off a little bit. They say, "Oh, the Lord don't make mistakes," but in that moment when you lose a loved one, you feel like there's some mistake has been made or something is wrong.
Not right,
yeah, and so you have to balance that because people at that moment, at that moment, it's nothing you can do at that moment. And especially if they're believers, right? I think eventually they'll get to the point where they understand, that God is with them and his will has to be done. But in that moment, you don't want to hear that.
And one thing you need to know about empathy is that you need to know you cannot fix everybody.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you cannot fix anybody.
Right.
You can't fix anybody. And it doesn't, because you have that thought that I can't fix anybody, it doesn't mean that you don't care.
Right. And that's good that that was really good because I was thinking that that empathy, it's how empathy turns into enabling, right? Which I kind of use Melvin for the example. It's when the emotional care, how you care about the person, turns into codependency. And I think we were both dependent on each other, right? Because I think that I was dependent on him to need me to be able to help him in that moment, but I think he was also dependent on me knowing I would be there for him. So yeah.
And and what happens is when what we do for others becomes excessive, uh, it has a lack of boundaries, and it has a lack of self. It really has a tone of self neglect when we allow it to become excessive.
Right.
When what you do for others becomes excessive.
Okay, I have a question for y'all. Is enabling like the other side of tough love? Yes, exactly. That's a really good point. Yes, enabling is the other side of tough love because you have to balance that, right? You want to show tough love, but you also want to have empathy too. But you also don't want to enable the person. And I know that as parents, I talk about. I talked about it already, but as parents, you want to make sure that you're not enabling your kids, and that's very difficult because you want what's best for them. You don't want them to have to bump their heads, and so you end up enabling them in some way.
And kindness or empathy without limits can lead to self ruin. Uh, many people, many people see your constant kindness, your constant empathy as an opportunity to take advantage.
Oh,
That's just a fact.
yeah.
And when kindness becomes a habit, people will intentionally or unintentionally start to expect it and then become reliant on what you're doing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And then that brings me to yes, enabling is hindering. It absolutely hinders. It hinders. It does hinder. It absolutely hinders. Um, so this is another thing. Whenever you've been there for somebody that they do what we call the guilt trap, right? So if you say no, you feel like you're being unkind, right? Parenting walks the thin line of enabling. Absolutely. Parenting walks a thin line of enabling. It sure does. Because again, you don't want your kids to have to go through those things. You want to be able to shield them and protect them, but at the same time, you want to make sure that they're standing on their own, being able to stand on their own two
And
feet.
you mentioned about saying no. If you're always saying yes, when do you have time to focus on your own needs? If you're always focusing on other people's needs.
Yeah. And somebody said, I'm doing tough love at this time, but I feel guilty. And as parents, sometimes you do. I know I feel guilty as a sibling to not be able to be there for my loved ones when they're in need. But I saw something on social media the other day. Someone said, no is a complete sentence. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. I found myself doing the same thing, just trying to show up and be there and not ever say no, not ever say no, but that ends up wearing yourself out. You wear yourself out doing that.
And it leads to resentment. It leads to resentment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Melvin, he thank you, Rhonda, he sure was.
Yeah.
But they only can do what you allow them to do, right? Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we have to have the balance, because we don't want to come off especially as believers, we don't want to be hard-hearted or not being able to show empathy, but we also don't want people to run over us either.
Yeah, and when you're in a relationship that's always taking, always taking, and never giving, it leads to resentment.
Yeah.
It leads to resentment.
Yeah. Absolutely. It leads to stress when you're always trying to do everything and be there for people. Absolutely. It does. It brings stress. It brings unneeded stress, undue stress that you really don't have to go through. So let's okay.
Well, before you go there, we talked about, should we continue to show empathy? Should we continue to keep doing what we're doing? And it's a definitely a yes. We should continue to show empathy. Don't stop as our Christian worldview tells us that we should always show empathy because that's what Jesus did for us when he came. He showed empathy when he identified with what we're going through. In Hebrews 4:15, we will have a high priest that cannot identify with what we're going through because he was tempted just like we were in every aspect, but yet he did not sin. So we have someone that can identify. So it's incumbent on us to also show empathy toward others. But the empathy that we show should be with boundaries because without boundaries, it can become dangerous.
Yes. And I was just about to say that, babe. We have the call to discernment, right? We have the call to discernment. We have to balance compassion with truth. We have to balance compassion with truth, right? And so empathy equals feeling with, not fixing for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And boundaries equals protection, not punishment. And true love always points toward growth. And so you really want the people to grow. You don't want to enable people where they're not able to grow. We don't want to hinder them.
You mentioned protection. You need to protect your time and energy and take care of yourself as much as you take care of others.
Ooh. And especially women, y'all, we get that we're always taking care of other people just as women, and we neglect to take care of ourselves. And so that's really important that we're balancing those things and we're taking care of ourselves. But one thing you talked about, baby, was boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Boundaries. So setting healthy boundaries rooted in love, right? You're not being mean about the boundary you said, but you're setting those healthy boundaries and they're rooted in love because you ultimately do want the person to grow. Yeah. And this is one thing I thought about. Y'all talk to me about this. Y'all tell me what you think. There's a difference between cutting off versus stepping back. Do y'all think there's a difference between cutting off versus stepping back? Because I get that really mixed up because I call myself just stepping back, but I end up cutting people off and not intentionally doing it, but I'm just trying to step back. I want to step back. I want to be able to balance myself. I want to step back, but it comes across as cutting people off.
And empathy should honor both you and the person that's going through what they're going through. But never forget that you matter also. You matter too.
Yeah. You absolutely matter. And like David said, boundaries create safety and trust. And so we're going to talk about this because somebody mentioned this, how to respond when people guilt trip or manipulate you for having boundaries, right? So say a person says, I thought you were supposed to be there for me. Yeah. And you can say, I am, but I can't do for you what you refuse to do for yourself. So they own a responsibility in it too, doing things for themselves. Someone said, I try to remember, protect my peace. Yeah. Okay. I have cut off stories, just being honest. Me too. I have some cut off stories too, but I call myself just stepping back, but I end up cutting off. Yes, stepping back is when you realize and accept you can't fix everything. Right. Absolutely.
And honestly, reinforcing unhealthy behavior only fosters dependence upon you to continue to do what you're doing for that person.
Yeah.
And it prevents the person from learning and from suffering the consequences of their actions. And no consequences equals no repentance, no change.
Michelle says she stepped back and she cut you off. You do both. Nikki, hey Nikki, love you, girl. Cutting off and stepping back are both they both are necessary. Absolutely, they are both necessary.
But it takes the Holy Spirit in order to guide you in which way you need to go. Because, like I said, it's a fine line between enabling and being showing empathy towards someone. So always be dependent on the Holy Spirit to show you which way you need to go.
Yeah. And you know what I was thinking about today? We had a discussion. We're reading a book. And so we had a discussion, and the discussion was about neurotransmitters, right? and they were talking about dopamine and searcher
Church of me.
serotonin and all those different neurotransmitters, right? And I was thinking about that because what happens is whenever you get this feeling, a rush of dopamine for doing something, it could be that you know you're enabling the person, but you have a need to be needed. And so you continue to get that same boost of that dopamine or endorphins or whatever that is, and so you keep doing it because that now becomes ego-based helping.
One of the notes I have here is alleviating immediate pain or discomfort by rescuing the person, often driven by fear of confrontation
Yeah,
or a personal need to fix things.
yeah,
Some of us feel like we got to fix everything, we got to be involved in everything, and the fact of the matter is that you don't.
that's right. Okay, so here's y'all's homework. Here's y'all homework. You'll wear yourself out trying to. Yes, you will.
Right to
Yeah,
loved ones.
I'm telling
Only
you.
God can do. Yeah.
Only God can do that. You right.
I
Okay,
don't
so
know if you, Cherie, I said earlier that we can't fix nobody. We can't fix nobody.
yeah,
God has to do that.
absolutely. So here it is, y'all. So think about and I told y'all last week to write down, but you can just put in your head. Think about or write down one person you're trying to fix, okay? And ask, am I helping them heal or shielding them from growth? Because that's a very real question. Are we helping the person by enabling them? Are we shielding them from growth? I needed this because I learned from my parents enabling habits. I think I did too, because I think we were very much enabled. We were
Yeah.
very much enabled in so many ways.
Yeah, I have older brothers that were enabled by my mother, and they had drug issues, and they went through a situation where she, instead of telling them what was right, she enabled them and gave them the chance to just further the bad behavior.
Yeah. And because she wanted to, she took on that guilt herself. Your mom took on that guilt herself, like that was her fault and her responsibility because they were her kids and they were always her little kids. They never were her grown men kids. They were always her little kids. And I was gonna say I'm gonna go stretch way out to say that I think my mom and my grandmother enabled us, and I think that if they were here, if they would have been here, if God had wouldn't have taken them, then we would probably be still enabled today, and probably would even have grown to be in the spaces that we are now if they were here because we were enabled. Yeah. Not me. My mother was tough love, for real, for real. Right?
Who was that?
Sister D.
Oh yeah.
D. Right? Some people are tough love, for real, for real.
Your mama didn't play, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. So here's my closing line. We're gonna be on time tonight. Here's my closing lines. Okay. Real love calls people higher. Real truth wraps the call into grace. Don't confuse peacekeeping with peacemaking. One avoids conflict, the other transforms it. And so you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you are extending that empathy, but you want to make sure that you're not enabling. She said our grandparents were whole Yes.
My takeaway is this: should we stop? Should we stop having empathy? Absolutely not.
No.
Empathy is powerful, and the world needs more empathy. But it's just like anything else in life. Without boundaries, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And the solution is simple: have empathy, but set boundaries and learn to say no when necessary.
Yeah. And somebody said, breaking the cycle of generational enabling. Oh my God, yes. And that's rooted in us from, man, I bet you that's slavery that we were enabled, right? They wanted to protect us. And so we end up enabling because we want to protect. So
I think that's one of the reasons this generation is so soft now, because us Gen X parents, all of us Gen X parents on here, we kind of enable our children, right?
mm-hmm.
We kind of gave them everything that they really wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't really have to go through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that everybody on here was like, how, unless you grew up really rich, you wanted to make a better life for your children, and you didn't want your children to have to experience the poverty you experienced, the no lights, no running water, whatever those challenges that you experienced growing up. You didn't want your children to have to experience it, and so
Yeah.
as a result,
They got a
you
lot.
yeah.
They got
And
more.
now if the lights go out, they gonna jump off the first floor because they can't take nothing. They can't take nothing.
We can put
Hey, sister Matt. Hey, sister Massey. Yeah. So y'all, that's it. That's all we got for tonight. We just want to jump on real quick and just talk about empathy versus enabling. Just do a retrospective look and see if there are people in your life that you are enabling. Yeah, that's your assignment, to look at people in your life to make sure you're not enabling people, because our ultimate goal as believers, as people that want to help people, is to make sure that we're helping them grow so they can flourish and be able to make it on their own. And so that's all I got for tonight. You got something else, babe?
That's it.
All right, y'all. So that's been Real Talk with the Taylors. And we hope y'all got something out of this empathy versus enabling. All right. This lesson was perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. That's it. Love y'all. Thank you. Love y'all. Remember, we're going to show that empathy, but we're not going to enable people.
Set some boundaries.
Set some boundaries. Yeah.
Boundaries.
All right. Growth versus enabling. Yes. Y'all drop in the chat. Boundaries. Pastor Young, you say boundaries. Boundaries. Set them boundaries. And no is a complete sentence, and it's okay to say no. Thank you, Minister Taylor. Good. Thank you. Love you, Rhonda. Thank you, Sister Canada. Appreciate you. Thank you, Glenda. Love you. Can't wait to jump on the singles ministry and share. Excited to be able to jump on there next month. Don't forget, y'all. Empathy equals feeling with not fixing for. So feel without fixing. All right, love you, Sister D. I'm gonna call you in a minute. Love you, Jennifer. Boundaries, yes. Good night, Cynthia. Love you. Good night, Sister Craft. Love you. Thank y'all. Let's talk about it. Bye, y'all. Let's talk about it. Bye, Sister Karen. Love you. It's okay to say no. Absolutely. Boundaries. No is a complete sentence. Yes, brother. Look. You see what it is?
Look for the one right, man. Hey, man.
All right. Love y'all. Have a good one. Until next week, y'all.